In February of 2012, a Florida Highway Patrol trooper by the name of Detrick McClellan got a call that there were some kids throwing rocks from an overpass. So he got in his car and then he proceeded to drive 100 miles per hour to respond to, the scene of the crime. And in the process of doing so, he was going through a 35 mile per hour zone. He didn't have his lights on. And he crashed into another woman's car. Now, the 51-year-old in the car unfortunately died as a result of the accident. However, he only received 3 citations for that, okay? And the 3 citations included careless driving, speeding, and failure to use his emergency lights. All right, so when he showed up to his court date, the officer who gave him those citations didn't show up. So the entire case was dismissed, even though a 51-year-old woman died.
So what do we think? Did the cop not show up on purpose because it was another cop, knowing that he'd get off?
There were other troopers there that shook his hand after the judge dismissed the case. And the victim's family was there, and they saw it all happen, and they feel like that's the case. Now, right now, there's obviously no solid evidence indicating that that officer didn't show up on purpose, but that's the sense that people are getting as a result of this.
It reminds me of the one time that I was arrested, and it was a friend of mine got into a verbal altercation with the cops, and he accused them of being racist. They lost it. They slammed him against the door. They're undercover cops, so they never showed us a badge. And then they opened the store. It turns out we were in the back of the precinct. We had no idea, right? Mm-hmm. And they throw him in the door, and I stepped in the doorway and I said, look, you got to show us a badge. We don't know who you are. We don't know what this, it was just a big brick building. We didn't see the front. We're on the side of it, right? And they said, that's it, you're under arrest, okay? Interfering with a police investigation, right? Nonsense. It's Hoboken cops. They're notorious, okay? Anybody that lives in Hoboken or around Hoboken, they're like, oh, Hoboken cops. Yeah, okay. So, but that's not the interesting part of the story. We go to our trial date. Our lawyer, we're geniuses, didn't show up. We picked a winner there. So I'm on my own. I'm like a law school student at the time. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And the judge, before our case comes up, there's a bunch of cases, they go, and our case is next. The judge says to the 2 cops who are supposed to be the witnesses, hey, Bobby, Vinny, come up here and tell me what happened. I'm like, oh, well, there that goes. We're totally hosed. So then the prosecutor comes up and goes, look, I talked to the guys. You're right.
Oh, nice, okay.
All right, and he's like, but I got a relationship with them. I can't burn them. They want something, and they don't like your friend, and so they're willing to drop all the charges against you. But they want to put something on your friend's record. So then I'm like a law school student. I'm nervous. And then I negotiated, and I got it down to like the equivalent of a traffic ticket. Okay, and we had to pay the penalty, which was significant at the time, for him. And then I had it expunged from my record. Which, by the way, later a cop pulled me over and said, "Oh, you got arrested for going after cops." And I'm like, "What the fuck? That's supposed to be expunged from my record." Yeah. Sure, it's expunged, right? So, will cops look out for each other? Will local guys look out for each other from time to time?
Yeah,
of course. So again, we don't know the specifics of this case, and he was responding to a call, but it's reckless, and oftentimes, look, another story. When I was in law school, I worked at a prosecutor's office, and I did a drive along with cops in Coney Island in New York. They sped all the time for no reason, just to show off. They're like, hey guys, watch this, here we go. Like 100 miles an hour. I'm like, okay, it's all right, I got it.
I hate that. Like that, nothing gets under my skin more than cops that are driving badly and they're not going anywhere. They don't have their lights on because you're putting other people's lives in danger. By the way, just a few more details to the story that I think are important. So the prosecutors refused to file criminal charges against the cop because they found that McClellan's driving was not equivalent to vehicular homicide. But I mean, if any other person was driving like that and they got into an accident, I mean, done. You're going to jail. It's finished. But of course, they're not responding to a crime. But also,
right, and vehicular homicide is pretty harsh.
Yeah.
So I think it's within the bounds of reason to say that this was not necessarily homicide in that way. You're free to go is not within the bounds of reason. There's somewhere between vehicular homicide and we'll see you later, Bobby.
He did. By the way, I'm missing one of the most important points. He did get fired. Okay.
No,
so,
I know he got
yeah.
fired, but I mean, like you said, probably an average citizen is going to get some jail time for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Or certainly the cops are going to show up and you're going to have a trial.